ahead. Take your time. Take your time.
First thing I want to do is I want to update Black Power Media to what's going on with the struggle to free Mumia Abu-Jamal. There was a private, by invitation only meeting on Saturday in Philadelphia. It was very well attended, and people there were about some very serious business. That's really all I can say because of the private nature of the meeting, but I want you to know that the brother has not been forgotten. We are about to approach December 9th, which will be his 42nd year under lock and key. He's about to turn 70 years old on April 24th, and believe me, there are some things planned. Now, I know there's some debate about this on this channel, so I'll just say this briefly. There is a conference at the end of September at Brown University, a conference on incarceration where Pam Africa will be there, Johanna Fernandez will be there, Angela Davis will be there. And the conference is about the nature of incarceration, but it's also the public opening of Mumia Abu-Jamal's archives. Now, I am involved in that. I am the archivist consultant. And what I can tell you as objectively as I can is that I went in thinking I was going to teach them about Mumia. And it was the opposite. They taught me things about Mumia that I did not know. And they've gone so far as to even have his jail cell on death row reconstructed for the exhibit. And this exhibit is going to take up much of a floor, if I'm not counting the hallways and other things that they're doing. So this is a major thing. And I have to assume that this will be a major attack point of the right once they really understand what this is. Because when they put this thing out, any doubt that Mumia Abu-Jamal is anything but a world historical figure will be eradicated. And by the way, since we're talking about Abu-Jamal, I just want to also point out that he is getting a Ph.D. I don't know if we've ever discussed this. He is, I think he's ABD now at Angela Davis's old department, the History of Consciousness at the University of California, Santa Cruz.
Now that is, first of all,
sure.
he is absolutely more than qualified.
Absolutely.
And I can't imagine, I would just like to be on the committee just so I could get to read his comp exams.
Right.
And hopefully they get published. They should just get published.
You can imagine.
But that's wild. And I don't know, does he speak any other languages beyond English? Because, or maybe there's been a change, because years and years and years and years ago, when I first heard about that department opening, I looked into applying. There's zero chance that I would have been qualified for any number of reasons. But the number one reason why I wasn't qualified was that they told me you had to speak more than one language. English could not be your only language.
Wow.
And at the time I was offended because I thought it was unfair that particularly Black Americans, but working class people in the United States, I thought, it's not fair to expect that we would be grown up in a situation where we would be able to have learned another language. I just didn't think that was fair. Anyway, whatever. So I was just anyway, that's what I always think of when I hear of that. But even if that rule still exists, obviously Mumia deserves an exception if he doesn't speak any other language, or they hopefully change that rule or whatever. But yeah, and I don't know what and just, I don't remember everything I said, but in terms of a debate around that issue, my only issue, I just thought it was worthy of raising a question about papers being housed. Daruba has papers being housed at one of these major universities. I forgot which one.
Princeton,
right. And many good people, including the people, the subjects themselves, feel like there's value to it. I just thought it was worthy of raising a question for some discussion. So I don't know to what extent there was a quote unquote debate, but anyway.
I think it's important to raise that question and to answer what you said about languages. I don't know if Mumia Abu-Jamal fluently speaks any languages other than English. I will get to what he does do fluently in a second that you'll find interesting. But what's funny is that if you go to the University of Santa Cruz's like graduate school page, he's been profiled online as a graduate student at the University of Santa Cruz, where they've
Wow.
literally asked him questions. And it's funny because you would never know who he was. If you were just reading this, you think, oh, this is this guy with a weird name, and he's just remember the doctoral program because he just talks in general about what he does and what he's interested in. And you would never know. So there's like a literally a student profile of him on that page. Which when I showed the brown people that they were quite amused and shocked by.